Cool, man. Merrick, thank you so much for joining, man. I've been following you the last little bit, man, and what you've been doing with your Capital Courts is quite impressive, man.
Thank you, man.
And I'm
Appreciate it.
very, yeah, no doubt, man. And I'm very amazed, man. I pretty much left Ottawa, like, I don't know, in 2012. When did you open up Capital Courts?
2011.
2011.
Yeah, 2011.
Missing you, man.
Yeah, I know.
Dang. How has it been, man? How's the journey been with having that open and running your normal life as well? Like, how did that all come about?
Well, Capital Course kind of happened by accident. I mean, I was just coaching my son, Taj, and then he got real, like he was getting really good, but I was just coaching him in house league. So there was nothing special that I was doing. But what happened was it was a GCBA, and they kind of knew my background, so they didn't allow me to pick my team myself, right, from the evaluations. So I just said, don't worry, just give me my son and give me whoever, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll coach them all up, whatever, right? So we started playing, and my team was not that good. Like we were terrible. So what happened was, but I didn't care. I got them once a week in a practice, and then I got them on the weekends for games. So once I started coaching them, parents started to see, like, kind of my enthusiasm for getting them better, and they were like, man, you should be doing something else. Do you run any programs on the weekends? Do you do anything? Like, I'm like, no, not really. I just coaching my kids, They said, well, we heard about you, your background. And so I said, no, I'm too busy. And I have a daughter. She had, she had a blood condition. So I didn't want to go venture too far from the house. So then the following year, I coached my son again in house league. And then this time the parents were like, they're like bombarding me. They're like, no, you have to do something. So I was like, okay, fine. So then I rented a little gym at Fallingbrook in Orleans. And then I started with like 7 kids coming out, and I just called it Merrick Palmer Basketball School. Right. And, a cheesy name, but what the heck, I gotta get the name out there, right?
Yeah.
So after that session, the following session, we doubled up. We had like 14 kids. And then after that, we had like 30, and then we had 60, 90, and then we went up to 200. But then it was just getting too big. So what we had to do is we needed our own space, because we kept on getting bumped out of gyms. We started losing permits, and so we had to get permits in 3 different locations. It was just ridiculous. So I said, I need something more permanent. So I found an industrial space in 2010, and then in 2010, but then it wasn't going to be ready until 2011. So that gave me enough time to just keep hustling, keep saving my pennies. And then in 2011, I quit my job, and I changed the name from Merrick Palmer Basketball School, because I didn't want to have a building with my name on it. I didn't want that life, So because then that makes me the center of attraction, right? I want to be the center of attraction. I want the program and the development to be the center. So I called it Capital Courts, or the nation's capital kind of thing. And then it just started ballooning from there, and here we are.
Man, that's awesome, bro. I wanted to give you praise, because, man, like, you were one of the first guys that I've seen, especially a lefty. Not to make especially just.
You're a lefty. Are you a lefty?
Bro, I've been a lefty. Yeah, I've always been a lefty, man. Me and my brother. Yeah, it's a different type of style, man. And you're one of the guys that I took a couple key pointers from, bro. And
that's cool, man.
Like, just seeing what you're doing right now, and working with the amount of people you're working with, it's pretty incredible, man. It's awesome.
It's definitely been a journey. We kind of we started doing the personal training, and then we kind of did some camps and stuff like that. And then one thing that was in kind of my long-term business plan was a basketball academy. So like an actual school. So in my business plan, it was it was going to be a boys academy.
Right.
But there's other people in town that are doing boys academies, and I didn't want to compete, so I just said, you know what, let me just do my, you know, I was just, you know, Fabian Blizzard, who's kind of my co-captain, my partner in crime. She's always been, you know, coaching boys and girls,
Okay.
and then she was coaching Jewel, which is like the, you know, Juvenile Youth Elite League or something. I forget what the acronym stands for, but it's Jewel.
Okay.
And she's always trained girls, and girls, and she was always sending girls to my gym so we can work together. So I would work on something, send them back to Fabian because she's coaching them up in basketball. And so we kind of had a great little partnership going. And then the Ontario Scholastic Basketball Association, the OSBA, started. And Fabian was already coaching Team Canada. She was coaching Team Ontario. So they asked her if, you know, would you like to put in an application for a franchise for the girls side. And then she asked me, and I'm like, you know what? It's already in the business plan, so let's do it up. So we've been running Capital Courts Academy now for the past 4 years, or past 3 years.
Wow.
So we're entering in our 4th season, and we're pretty much, you know, we're last year we were top ranked, second best in the country. And this year, we came third.
Oh.
Yeah, we came third. So we're, you know, so in a short span of time, we kind of gained a lot of ground, but it's all kind of revolved around the gym, and making sure that the gym was fueling the development.
Right.
So we have the same philosophy at the gym as we do at the academy. So we're always making sure that the girls that we have in the academy are, you know, working on their technical skills so they can perform well.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's unbelievable. Merrick, what like I don't know if you checked out like my background stuff, like what I'm doing with my Awareone movement, but I pretty much want to be picking people's brains about mental health. And
You're right.
And as far as you working with so many kids, how do you implement mental health strategies and like working on them, not only on their game, but off the court as well? How do you help kids with that?
So when I started the academy, I didn't want it to be a regular academy. And for me, myself, like I did sociology and psychology in school. That was kind of my major. And I knew that if we want to make some sort of a headway in the lives of kids, that we have to touch on the psychological component. And so immediately, Fabian was already working with a mental consultant. His name was Chris Rose. Okay. And so he was always working on focus and things like that. But, you know, over the past few years, you know, we realized that there's still a gap that we can't fulfill. So in the academy, we have a mental consultant, we have a technical trainer, myself, and I'm also act as the director. We have a team doctor, like a medical team doctor, and then we have a physiotherapist and strength and movement person. We've added an academic advisor, so she just oversees all of their marks and their assignments, and she works with guidance as well at Crean Wilson. And then at the ending of this season, we added a clinical psychologist.
Wow.
So that was the last gap that we had to fill to be, in my opinion, a comprehensive academy, a comprehensive basketball program that touches on everything in all aspects of these kids' life: educational, social, emotional, mental focus, and basically clinical psychology. Right. So if our girls are battling anything that's beyond the coaching realm and the technical coaching realm, we have a person specifically for that, and everything is confidential. They can contact him. His name is E.L. Adams, and he's actually a basketball player from St. FX.
No way.
Yeah, so it's like full circle, and it's amazing. And so we always try to look for signs of anything, depression or anything that we think that is bothering this child and is bigger than basketball. We don't try to act like psychologists or psychiatrists or sociologists. We just we just immediately refer them to the professionals that are part and affiliated with our program.
It's amazing, man. I don't think there's any type of academy that does anything like that.
Nope.
You guys are the only ones, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, people contract people to come in.
Yeah.
But they're hired by us. Like they're staff.
Right.
And I think that's the best way where our girls feel comfortable that, and prior to this year, our girls would have to literally go out and shop and find someone,
right,
to help them with things. And we'll try to look for someone as well, but it's tough. As you know, if you try to make an appointment to go see a psychologist or psychiatrist or a mental consultant,
yeah,
you're waiting like
a long time. That's for sure.
Yeah, you might be like 3, 4 months, 5 months, the waiting list. So with someone that's on our staff, it's actually immediate, like within a day or two. And I think that's what our girls and our parents feel safe, that if a kid's coming into our program, they know they don't have to go out and shop around for things. We try to provide all those resources in-house.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're not just we're ranked so high, but I think this is why I think we're landing big time players, because they realize, okay, this is a safe place, it's a stable place, and the people care about the kids.
It's a community, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And Mary, like back to mental health. What does mental health mean to you? Like, what do you think it's like? What do you think the importance of mental health is?
Mental health is everything.
Yeah.
Without mental health, you actually have nothing. If you have super strong body, like you are cock diesel like yourself, like you're in shape, and you're mentally going through things, it doesn't really matter how much muscles you have or how fit you are. Like you actually feel that you are, you feel very weak. The muscles don't mean anything after a while. Maybe that's just kind of superficial, but inside, if you're battling mentally, it's like that. It's just that hidden pain. And I see a lot of people, young and old, battle. And I think that's what attracted me to the subject matter when I was in school, because it's like, man, the brain is so powerful. It can play so many tricks on you, and if it's left kind of unchecked, it could be detrimental. It could be fatal. So I think mental health is everything for young and old, and whatever program, whatever vehicle that people are using to address mental health, more power to it. You know what I mean? Because some people use basketball, some people use fitness, some people use music, some people use so many different vehicles to hone in on the mental health of another human. And I think that's what's key right now. And in the day of social media, these kids are susceptible to so many things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm an old guy, and I wouldn't really change. I wouldn't go back in my age. If I could be 17 again, I wouldn't go, honestly.
Different time.
It's different time. I'm like, would I be able to mentally, focus on what I'm doing in the gym or with all these distractions? So these kids nowadays, they have so many things thrown at them, so many different environmental factors, that if a kid is not kind of aware of what's pulling at them, they can go down a slippery slope. And I commend a lot of these young kids who push through, and I try to like kind of coach them through it and say, watch out for this pothole over there, don't step in it. And then they step in it. So, but since I'm a little bit older, I kind of know some of the pitfalls of posting everything about your whole entire life on social media.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
What do you do when you get, like, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling down, what's your go-to?
I think, when I'm feeling any type of way, quote unquote,
Yep.
I really kind of go inside. Like I would classify myself as a pretty confident dude. But again, if I'm anxious about something, I always use kind of my background in sports and know that it's butterflies.
Right.
And I've always been taught that everyone experiences butterflies. If you don't experience butterflies, you're kind of not human.
Yeah.
So just kind of being aware of the anxiety is powerful enough for me to say, okay, that's anxiety. I know I am not going to die. You know what I mean? If with that anxiety, I know it's not going to be fatal as long as I acknowledge it. Once I acknowledge it, then I can deal with it. If I was not kind of mentally aware of what my buttons are, like, because a lot of people sometimes they don't know what triggers them to become anxious. It's like, okay, public speaking makes you anxious. Okay, all right, I've recognized it. What do I do to mitigate that anxiety? Well, I got to get practicing. I got to start practicing my public speaking, because I know I got to do a term paper, or I know I got to do a presentation in front of my classmates, or I got to do a charity event and they want me to say a couple words.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be anxious, so you recognize it and you start to do things to become aware of it. So you kind of embrace it. It's a kind of like a, it's a catchphrase or a quote, but you got to embrace your anxieties. It's like an alcoholic has to acknowledge that they're alcoholics first before they can start treating it. If they're in denial, like if you're in denial that, I'm good, I'm going to kill this public speech.
Yeah.
And then you go out there and then your hands are sweaty and you forget everything that you're trying to recall. Then you're not doing yourself any favors. Like, you gotta actually acknowledge it. So personally, if I feel anxious about a situation, usually I get up early in the morning.
Yeah.
And start to jot things down. I actually start to jot things down, and I build what I called, like, I haven't done it in a while, but what I build is like a semantic web. So I get a blank piece of paper.
Okay.
And I write down the problem in the middle.
And then like a web graph, like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I say, I'll draw a line to, okay, so my problem is like fear of, for example, I'll use the presentation or giving a speech, like a huge speech.
Right.
And okay, so what are my fears? Okay, my fears are I'm gonna forget all my lines. One of my fears are, my wife is gonna be staring at me, right? Or my coach is gonna be there. Like, I kind of map out all the different things that are causing my anxiety, and I start trying to figure out how best I can mitigate those situations. I'm going to really rehearse. So I'll do like a kind of like an inside circle and just start putting solutions, writing down solutions, because a problem will stay a problem if it's not acknowledged. That's right. You know what I mean? So I got to acknowledge the problem. I got to acknowledge my anxiety. And I recognize it, embrace it, become familiar with it, and then I can start dealing with it. Because if you start running from it, it doesn't go anywhere. You push it down under the rug, you suppress it, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
It doesn't, it just stays right there. It doesn't get dealt with. So yep. I kind of run at my anxiety head on. Yeah. And like, I'm ready to fail. I don't care. I'm going to try to do it. And that's kind of how I use it as a basketball player. I'm like, I'm going to take the shot. I don't care if I miss. Right. I'm going to take this shot. Yeah. So I kind of fall back onto my sports background. But again, not everyone has what you've played on a big stage. You've played, high level basketball, and you've played in front of a lot of people. And so you're kind of familiar with, eyes on you. But again, there's also a lot of players that battle, mental health, right, even though they're in front of a big stage, like, like in the NBA and everything. So it's just for me, it's personally, all I do is try to acknowledge it. I'll write it down, or I'll wake up early and acknowledge it and figure out in my head and just create scenarios. How can I do this? How can I do that? Write it down, and then move forward. Because I never want to stand still and kind of wallow in my anxiety or wallow in my pity, and then because then it just goes bad if you just keep denying it.
I think it's, if anything, if you keep anything, inside, I think that it's a mechanism where it just eats away at you, and you're not going to be able to continue. You're going to have something holding you back.
Absolutely.
So I feel that,
Absolutely.
and that's why, like, I think I talk a lot about, like, journaling is a great way to get those emotions out, but also, like,
Yeah.
having an important circle, I think is something that is very effective as well, and just speaking your words and getting them out of your mind, so they can't
Absolutely.
crowd you. I think that's very important too. But
Yeah. No,
web though.
I no, sorry about that. I really, I believe in that. That's journaling is not a new thing. But a lot of people don't understand the power of a journal.
Right.
Even if you may not have a confidant or a significant other to talk to on a regular basis.
Right.
Like, your journal can be that person. Like, when you're setting goals, for me, I've always written them down.
Mm-hmm.
I've always written them down because that's my accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people say, oh, I want to do this in a couple of years. Then, no one really knows, and then you forget about it, and then you forget the steps you need, you forget how hard you got to work. But for me, I always write my stuff down so I can acknowledge it. When I was in university, I decided in my third year that I want to play professional basketball.
Right.
And what I did was I wrote a piece of paper on my dorm room mirror that said pro ball. And it was huge. I put it almost the size of the mirror. And every morning I woke up, I'd brush my teeth just in the sliver of mirror left, right? Because I wanted this goal to be so big in my face.
Wow.
That I never ever left my dorm room without thinking, okay, I gotta do everything I can to achieve that goal. I want to make sure that I'm eating right, I'm sleeping right, I'm not hanging out with my homies too much. I'm not gonna go to the club and drink till I pass out. Like, I'm always conscious of what the goal is every time I leave my room. And so that in itself gave me motivation to keep on going. And a journal is almost the same thing. Like, as long as you're reading it and inputting into the journal on a regular basis, don't write your journal and hide it somewhere and never open it until you're down in the dumpsters again. Like, it's something that you got to stick to and read because they're goals. For me,
do you put your
their goals
here now, or do you still journal your goals now?
Right now, it's like my goals were in my business plan.
Right. Okay.
And for me, the business plan is kind of etched in the gym. So every time I go down to the gym, I'm always thinking, okay, how can I do this more efficiently? Right. And so with COVID hitting, I was already ready to kind of branch off and to do video sessions, because so I already had all my tripods and everything ready to go. But I was just waiting to see what happened with gyms and reopening. And I said, you know what? I don't see the future right now. I don't see it opening anytime soon. So I think we're in like a 5th week now or of doing video sessions, and we just skipped right into it. Boom. And so it's working. I mean, it's not going to pay the rent, but it's going to put a dent in it because I was prepared. And again, if the old saying, if you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. And I think that's so true with mental health. Mm-hmm. If you don't address it, or if you keep everything bottled up, you're preparing to fail. You got to acknowledge it, you got to attack it, and you got to make sure that you have a plan for your anxiety. You have a plan for your depression. You have a plan for it. If you're waiting for someone to say, hey man, shake it off, or it's just mental health, it's just depression, like, just snap out of it. Like that doesn't happen.
Doesn't
It
work.
doesn't. No, it doesn't magically fix itself.
Right.
So you have to actually go outside yourself. Maybe it's professional help, or maybe it's like, you know, you're doing some self-help stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, hopefully you're not medicating, and you know, or self-medicating and hiding it, because that's still just hiding it. For me, I think if you just continue to go outside yourself and look at different that know what they're doing, not just your homie that says, "Yo, man,
Shrug it
just
off.
snap out of it, man. Yeah, like just come on, let's just go, let's go party, let's go drink it off or something."
Yeah.
Like that that doesn't work.
Oh, man. I quit drinking this year, man. I even like casually, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
because of how it slows you down. You know, that one, it could be just even one day out of the year, you know, where you have a huge party or something like that, and you have, you know, 15 drinks or something. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And that
yeah,
will just
yeah,
slow
yeah.
you right down, man, for like 2 days. I like, do you drink? I don't even drink casually anymore,
No, so I think my last drink was about 15 years ago.
man.
Like
Yeah.
I don't even drink casually.
Wow, good for you, man.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so because I just realized I'm really not missing anything, and I'm always a designated driver anyway.
Yeah.
And I just found, for me, I always wanted to be a person that has no vices. Like if I don't have coffee, then I can't function. If I don't have beer when I go out or drink, I can't function. If I don't have a cigarette, I can't function. If I don't smoke weed, I can't function. Like
Right.
I want to be able to say, if you plot me on an island and I have no amenities, just give me some food and some water, I can survive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I won't go into like shock or withdrawal from something, you know?
Right.
So that's kind of how I wanted to lead my life moving forward. And I realized I don't need to go out and trust me, if I go out with my family or whatever and people are drinking, I have zero urge to like, I want to have some. Like
Right.
I have zero urge
Yeah.
because I've kind of got it out of my system. And it's a lot of discipline. Like
It,
this, yeah, I mean, October, I actually stopped eating meat.
no way.
And and yeah, so I haven't eaten meat since October, and it was just, I want to see if I can stop eating meat. And I just did it because mentally I know I'm strong enough that I can not have that need to, you know, to, or the urge. And believe me, my wife and my sister-in-law, they're cooking up a storm. And I just like, you know what, I'm good. You know what I mean? I mean, for personal reasons, right? I won't put that on anyone.
Right.
But this is just me saying, okay, I want to see if I can do this, you know, to improve my health, you know, in long-term health. And believe me, man, it's been amazing.
You feel
You
better?
know, oh my God. I mean, listen, I don't put that on anyone. It made me feel better.
That's good. I like how you say that because there's so
Yeah.
many people that preach. It's like vegans, you know, they preach like, you know, you have to do it or whatever. But
No, absolutely not. And that's, again, it's just
big
self.
changes, Omer.
Say again.
What's the biggest change? Like, what do you feel the most? Is it your body? Is it your mental? Like, what is it?
Listen, man. Everything, everything, everything.
Wow.
Like my skin feels better. My my I usually suffer from a lot of allergies.
Allergies?
Uh, yeah, I'm allergic to pollen,
Okay.
and I've never been tested. I just know when the buds start coming out,
Yeah. Yeah.
I start sneezing.
Yeah.
That usually lasts for about 3 weeks. It lasted 1 week this time, 1 week, and it was very mild. I took 2 allergy pills, and I was like, man, my circulation is amazing. Like my body feels good. I feel peppy. I mean, it's still dunking. You know what I mean? And I want to keep dunking.
That's
You know
unreal.
what I mean?
I love how you
I'm I'm
saw the
I'm
video the other
40.
day long ago. How old,
Yeah, 48.
bro?
Sorry, 47. I'll be 48 this year. I'll be 48 this year.
Crazy, man.
So
Crazy.
so I just want to maintain a good mental kind of mental strength to match my physical strength.
Right.
So I don't want my mental being strong, my body being weak. So I think I can say with confidence that I feel mentally strong, and I've always, I've always felt confident and mentally strong, but I know with age my body's breaking down.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't want to speed that process up by continuing to eat certain things. So I kind of just modified certain things, did a bunch of research, and I realized, oh my gosh, like I feel that much better. So I want to match, like, even in sports, when your IQ matches your physical tools, you're deadly, right? When you're young, your IQ is not super high, but you can jump through the gym, you can run real fast, you can shoot like crazy.
Yeah.
But when you get older and your brain matches your body, whew, you're deadly. So
Right.
I kind of took that on, and my brain was pretty strong, but my body was breaking down. I could feel myself getting more, harder to, after a workout. It's like, oh my gosh. So now it's fantastic. I feel great.
Wow, good for you, man. That's pretty cool. I've always been wanting to try something like that too. My brother was trying to get me on it as well for a little bit because he started that as well. He's big into juicing. I've been trying some juicing a little bit lately.
Yeah. Good.
And man, like, yeah, I think it might be something. Now that you say it, like, there's more and more people that are coming up that are talking about that. So I would like to actually start trying maybe that one day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
eggs and anything like that too.
Say again.
Like, are you eating eggs? Do you have fish, or is it like?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm still eating eggs and fish.
Okay.
I just don't do the red meat. I don't do red meat or chicken. So when I first started off, it was just straight vegetables, like just like no, because I'm already lactose intolerant, so I don't do dairy products.
Okay.
So that's already part of my diet. So it was just, I just went cold turkey, and I'm like, okay, no meat. And then I was like, okay. My wife was like kind of scared. She's like, you gotta eat fish, at least eat fish, you gotta eat fish, because she was kind of nervous for me. And I'm like, okay, all right, so I'll eat fish. And so I eat fish now, and I still eat eggs. So I just don't do the red meat and the chicken. So I just, and again, this is not for everyone. Not everyone can have the discipline to do that, but I know from the benefits. I can see the benefits, a lot of benefits,
That's
a
awesome.
lot of benefits.
Especially at your age as well. I mean, it's not like you're super old, but I mean, like, middle age, you can still see some type of. But you look 32.
Yeah.
You can still see some effects on.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
It's good, man. It's good. I'm glad that you feel a lot better. That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah, no, that's good. So again, just trying to match my mental with my body, with my physical, because again, without your mental, like I know there's a lot of people who feel really good physically,
Yeah.
and then they're weak mentally, and then I see a lot of people who are mentally strong, super strong, and then they will their body to do certain things, but then their body says, come on, man, are you kidding me? Like, boom, here's an Achilles, boom, here's an ACL, boom. So I see a lot of my friends, almost all my basketball friends, have torn their ACL or torn their patella or their Achilles, and I'm touching wood all over the place, right? I'm like, oh hell no, please God, like I don't want to go out like that, So I just said, okay, how do I make sure that doesn't happen to me? Well, I got to make sure that my ligaments are strong. I got to make sure that my muscles are strong, and doing a lot of research on muscle building and recovery. I came to the conclusion and that, what, if I cut this part of my diet out, if I cut this out of my diet, let's try it out. And sure enough, and a lot of MMA fighters are doing it, and there's a lot of benefits. But again, this is not a preach, but this is just me doing my own personal research of how to, again, this is my own little semantic web, and there's a problem, how do I solve that? How do I go about that? What are the steps? What are the goals? Do I do this incrementally? Do I do this cold turkey? Like, everything for me, I try to map it out.
Right.
There's nothing that I just do spur of the moment, unless it's like it's a love, like I'm gonna go surprise my friend or surprise, visit or call up my homies. Like
Yeah.
everything I try to do is planned, and I kind of map it out. If it's a big move, I try to map it out, because then my anxiety goes down. You know what I mean? My anxiety goes way down.
Yeah, it's like when you're gonna be doing well in something and you're prepared, just like you said. Like when you're prepared, it's that you have that feeling in the back of your mind, I guess, that you're just like everything's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my kind of my prep time, like when I wake up. If I have something that's burning in my mind, it's hard for me to sleep.
Yeah.
It's really hard because I continue to go over scenarios while I'm laying down. I'm like, okay, all right. If I say this to this person, what are they gonna say? If I do this, what are they gonna do? So I kind of go through different reactions, and it's like my rehearsal. And then in the morning, I I'll, if I'm still wrestling with it, then I'll break out the piece of paper. And then sometimes is that in that 6 o'clock hours, I jump out of my bed and I get a fresh new idea. I'm like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I start attacking it. But I guess my mental clarity happens when I wake up. I just feel, I guess, more rejuvenated, or my brain's well rested, and then I'm ready to rock and roll, man. So I like that time, personally, as you asked. Like that's kind of my time of reflection or new ideas, and I just attack it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I know, Merrick, I know you're a busy guy, man, and I don't want to keep you too long, man. But I once again thank you so much for doing this. And when this whole pandemic is over, I hope that that your Capital Courts, starts up right away. And I can't wait to come see your facility, man. It's definitely, I've been seeing videos and everything
Mm-hmm.
on the page, and it looks awesome. But before we sign off, man, I just want to ask you, like, for people that are dealing with, especially during these times, man, like who are going through a hardship, what words would you say to them right now?
Man, hardship. Listen, as the sun will rise tomorrow, you are gonna face hardships. So everyone is going through some sort of hardship, and I can honestly say to them that you're not unique in your hardship, and that's not to be belittling or anything. Is everyone will experience hardship. It's just how you react to that hardship would be the determining factor on if you succeed or bust through that threshold, or kick down that door, or finally break out of that slump or mental slump that you're in. And once you break out of that one, guess what? There's going to be another one,
Right.
and then another one. And that's what it's called, life. You're always going to face hardships and difficulties and tough situations. And from a person that's kind of lived, I guess, more than half of their lives going through a lot of hardships, once you break through one, you're going to use those same tools that you use to break through to help you break through the other one. And so don't get stuck in the current hardship, and don't do anything that will cause you, that will kind of disable you from attacking a future problem. So don't get stuck in the mud. Like, just continue to pull yourself out. Use anything to get out of that mud, like anything healthy to get out of that mud. You got to break that stick off and dig it into the mud and push through, and just keep taking small incremental steps. You're not going to jump out of bed and be good. You're
Right.
going to be, if you take one small step, you're that much closer to getting out of your mud. Take another small step. Every tiny little inch, every millimeter is a path forward. Just don't get stuck or go backwards. And I see a lot of people who kind of keep looking back. Oh, I wish I should have did this. I should have dated that girl. I should have did that degree. I should have did. No more shouldas. Just keep moving forward. So with me personally, I have a personal pact that I use on social media. I
Mm.
never post flashback pictures or throwback Thursdays or flashback Fridays, or I never post any picture that's from my past,
Mm. Really?
because I always want to move forward and build new pictures. I always want to build new memories. So I'm always about looking forward, even if it's something positive in the back.
Yeah.
And I find there's a lot of, and that's, again, no knock on anyone who does it. None.
Right.
There's no judgment. But for me, I don't want to dig up my old Saint FX pictures or my national championship pictures and then post that and say, look how good I was. I was in a good place then. I don't like to do that. I always try to look forward, because I know there's going to be hardships, and I want to always push through. I want to build new people. I want to help new people. I want to create new memories for my family. I never want to go back and say, yo, man, 10 years ago, I was on top of the world. I was balling. 25 years ago, I was winning, I was winning a pro ball championship. Like, forget that. Like, I'm trying to make memories for young kids now. Like, this is their time to shine. Not, digging up some old picture with some tight shorts on. Like, that's not my life. I always want to try to move forward. So when I say, if my advice for someone who's stuck right now or going through some hardships, take a step forward. As hard as it feels, and you have no energy to come out of that mud because you're just comfortable in your mud. Just take a step. Take a step out of that hole, man, because the longer you stay there, the more comfortable you get with that misery.
Right.
And misery loves company. Don't be your own miserable company.
Mm.
Keep moving. Shed yourself. If there's someone holding you back, if it's the actual person holding you back, you're gonna have to shed it, man. You're gonna have to shed it. As tough as it's gonna be. And I know I'm rambling on, but I use the analogy of a aircraft carrier. Those big jumbo jets.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they carry all kinds of stuff.
Right.
But it doesn't move very fast.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I gotta cut things off so I could be more aerodynamic. So I wanna offload some of that baggage, some of that pain, some of that sorrow, some of those hangers on around you, or just basically dead weight,
Right.
so I can get to my destination quicker.
I like that.
So that's the kind of analogy I want to be. I want to be that jet. I want to be that fighter jet. I don't want to be this big thing carrying all these loads, and then I can't move forward, because it's heavy. I want to be light. I want to be airy, and I guess that kind of encompasses how I feel about myself as a person. Is negative, or I want to be able to to live free and be creative, and my mind is clear, so ideas can come in and go out. Doesn't get stuck, it's competing for space in my head.
Right.
I don't want that. I want to have a clear mind. And again, that's one of the reasons why I stopped drinking, because I want to have a clear mind all the time. And the last thing I can say is I think I heard this from Will Smith. He said opportunities kind of fly by or pass by your face every single day.
Yeah.
But if you're not prepared to grasp it and catch it, then you're not being your best self. So I prepared my brain and prepared my mind and my body to be able to. This kid, you came into the gym, Merrick, let's play one-on-one. I can't be like, nah, man, with my knees, bro. Like, I want to be prepared for there once, right? so I got to be mentally and physically strong to seize the opportunities that come by people, to come by me personally. So I think I tell kids that as well. Prepare yourself for opportunities. Don't be sleeping, or you're at practice and you're dogging it, and then a university coach comes in and pops in and watches you drag drag your butt up and down the court. You missed an opportunity because they were going to give you a scholarship.
Right. So
always be prepared for opportunities, and you can only be prepared by making sure you're going through your steps. Okay, am I physically fit? Am I mentally fit? Is my homework done? Is my is this done? This. You want to make sure that you're planning, and you're ready to seize opportunities, and you're ready to step out of that mud, man.
I like that, man. I like that, bro. Merrick, you're a very knowledgeable human, man, and I hey, and before I forget, man, I know you. Obviously, you just said I know you don't like going back into the past, man, but I had to show you something real quick.
Yeah.
I still got my Merrick Palmer combo.
Oh,
I couldn't throw this one away, though, I just wanted to show you, man. Yo, that's you there, bro. That's you. I don't know what year that is. That's a long time ago.
That's 2009.
Woohoo.
That's 2009.
Bro, I found this.
Are
you know what? And that's why I wanted to. It's crazy.
Oh, my heart is pounding, boss. Oh, man, that's so cool.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate what you're doing, man. Honestly, it's amazing to see someone that's at your caliber and your successful, type of movement that you're creating and what you're doing for people, not only in your community, but I'm all the way in British Columbia, and I can see what you're doing. So it's just it's amazing to see, man, and thank you for your words and much love, bro. I hope I hope nothing and prosperous and all the best to you in the future, man.
Hey, man, thank you so much for having me. It was good to take a trip down memory lane with that shirt, number one, and number two, being able to impart something that's rattling around in my old head, to young guys like yourself, making moves all the way out in BC, man. I have to come visit you one time.
Yeah, no, I can't wait, man. We'll have to set something up, and I can't wait to check out the facility too, bro.
Yeah, man. All right, much love.
Okay, Merrick. Have a good night, bro. Thank you so much, man.
You